He's asked me to use his first name, so let's give a warm welcome to Mike.
All righty. Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike Dreiblatt. I'm here today on behalf of Project Against Violent Encounters, PAVE, and we're going to be talking about how to stop bullying, cyberbullying, and social aggression. And just to let you guys know, you are actually in the peak bullying years. Bullying peaks somewhere around 4th grade to somewhere around 8th or 9th grade. So you are actually in the peak bullying years. So every once in a while, I might say something or I might mention something and it might be like, that's me, I've done that. I've been a bully. You might actually notice yourself up here. You might not have thought of yourself as a bully, but you might actually notice yourself up here. If you've done bullying in the past, if you've made mistakes, forgive yourself. Really, forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. We're in 8th grade. We're definitely getting older, but there's still stuff that we make mistakes on. If you've been a bully in the past, forgive yourself. You can never do it again. Mike has been here. You'll now know better. But let's make sure that we all are on the same page. Let's make sure when I'm talking about bullying, we have the same information. So when I'm talking about bullying, what I'm talking about is bullying is the abuse of the difference in power. Somebody has more power, somebody has less power. And those with more power are abusing those who have less power. Get the idea? It's not two girls arguing, you know, that's my seat on the bus, no, that's my seat on the bus, no, that's my seat. That's a fight, that's a misbehavior, that's an argument. Sometimes it's even funny if you're the one that's watching it. Not bullying. When there's bullying, somebody has more power. Here, do it with me. Somebody has more power. Do it with me. Somebody has more power. Somebody has less power. And those with more power are abusing power. That's the point. Yeah, you got it. And they're abusing those who have less power. Sometimes when I'm working with younger children, I will define that bullying is being mean or leaving people out on purpose. You know exactly what you're doing. This isn't by mistake. In any bullying episode, if you think about it, you have 3 groups that are involved. You have the bully who starts off the bullying. You have the bullied person who's the object of the bullying. And then you have the crowd. You have the bystanders. It's actually the crowd, the bystanders, that control everything. And think about this. Think about your own experience. You know, let's say you're out on recess or you're outside, and there's a group of people, and the crowd starts going, "Yeah, Mike, go get him! Fight, 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 fight!" What happens? We get ourselves a fight, of course. When the crowd says, "Come on, knock it off, let's go and do something else," bullying tends to go down. The crowd controls everything. Now, you all might know each other. You all might be friends here. I'm new here. So what I'm going to do is when I say the word go, I'm going to ask you to turn to the people next to you, in front of you, on the side of you, behind you, and just introduce yourself, say hello, tell them your name. Wait, back to me. I did not say go yet. Go! Across the country doing these kind of presentations. And sometimes I go to a school and there'll be like 500, 600, 700 kids in an assembly with me, and I have to get them to quiet down. And so I use this. This is called a vibratone. Basically, it's just a very large chime. I use it to quiet people down. Do you want to hear what it sounds like? I should mention that because I'm a stranger here, because this is not my school, you all know the rules much better than I do. And so if you know you're allowed to do something here at the school, then I guess you'll be allowed to do it. If you know you're not allowed to do something, then just follow your normal classroom rules, your normal school rules. And of course, teachers, you're involved with your classes. You're still in charge of handling discipline. If you know your teacher wouldn't allow it, then just don't do it. All right, you ready to hear it? Do you want to hear my favorite part? My favorite part is the wah-wah button. Do you want to hear the wah-wah? Yeah. Want to hear the wah-wah? Wah-wah. Wah-wah. country. I travel all across the country. I go to lots of different schools. And like I said, I have to quiet people down. It's a much nicer way to get people to quiet down than screaming out something horrible like, shut up, or something terrible like that. So that's the way that I use it. Now, in a moment, you're not doing anything yet. In a moment, I'm going to ask you, remember those people next to you, in front of you, on the side of you, behind you? Yes. Don't do anything until I say the word go. Go is going to be the key word. When I say the word go, all eyes are on me now. When I say the word go, I'm going to ask you to talk to those people next to you, in front of you, on the side of you, behind you, about different types of bullying you've seen or heard about. It could be bullying, that abuse of the difference in power that you've seen here at this school. It could be that it happened at a different school. I need everybody looking at me. There should be no talking now because I haven't given you the key word yet. Thank you. You're going to talk about different types of bullying you've seen or heard about. It could be you've seen it here at the school. It could be at a different school. Maybe it happened to you. Maybe it happened to someone you knew. It doesn't even have to be something that happened to you or a friend of yours. It could be something you saw in a book or read about in a magazine or saw on a film or a video. But different types of bullying, that abuse of the difference in power, you've seen or heard about. Ready? Go. This one's deeper.
This one's deeper.
Want to hear the walla?
Yes.
Hey, how many of you watch cartoons? I do. I love cartoons. You know what my favorite cartoon is?
What?
My favorite cartoon is SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh yeah!
My favorite character on SpongeBob SquarePants is Patrick.
Oh yeah!
I like that.
Yeah.
Patrick is my favorite. Quiet it down, quiet it down. Last few seconds. My favorite cartoon is SpongeBob SquarePants. My favorite character is Patrick. I like Patrick. I think Patrick is funny. You got to admit, Patrick is not too bright in the head, and, not too smart. I figured out why Patrick is not so smart. Starfish don't have brains. That's why. That's why SpongeBob isn't too smart either. Sponges don't have brains either. Makes sense? It makes sense. I like Sandy the Squirrel. Sandy the Squirrel is also a favorite. I like Sandy for a couple of reasons. I like Sandy because Sandy likes Texas. I like Texas. Sandy is strong. Sandy stands up for herself. Sandy knows how to do karate. Karate. You ever notice in cartoons, whenever they show a bully in cartoons, they will usually show a physical bully. Some kind of Popeye Bluto character, you know what I'm talking about? They'll show some big, large knuckle dragger, gonna meet you behind the slide, pound you in the ground, make you feel pain, hurt you real bad, steal your milk money sort of guy.
Give me your milk.
There's actually some truth to this. There are physical bullies. Physical bullies are action-oriented. They use their bodies. They are not always the biggest. They are not always the strongest. But physical bullies, they use their bodies. They're action-oriented. These are the pushers, the kickers, the spitters, the kneers, the punchers, the elbowers. Sometimes it's not even that they actually punch or kick or spit, but they make you think that they're going to punch or kick or spit. You know that kid who walks by you every day in the hallway and does one of these? And you get all jittery because you think they're going to touch you or hit you. There you are, kind of short-circuiting out in the hall. Every day they kind of walk by, do one of these, never actually touch you, but you think it's coming. Difference in power. Bullying is about that abuse of the difference in power. Now, a lot of times on the news, I should see everybody's eyeballs when I'm looking out. A lot of times on the news, they talk about physical bullying. like I said, you guys are in the peak bullying years. They often will talk about terrible things that have happened at school, kids who've gotten beat up or, had stuff stolen from them. And it's true. That does happen. There are places in America where there are kids who get hurt in school and physical bullying that goes too far. And that really is true. I was talking to your principal, though, and he said, we've got pretty good kids here. We do get some physical bullying. Every school has it. But he said, we've got some pretty good kids here. Just put down your feet. Don't do that again. Sorry. Not a problem. I was talking to your principal. He said, we've got some pretty good kids here. We've got some pretty good kids. But I'm looking out and I see a number of you. I'm looking out in the audience and I see a number of you have longer hair. So imagine you're in class and you're sitting in class and there's that kid who sits behind you and they're like, stop, stop. They keep on blowing on your hair. They can blow on your hair. You can't blow on their hair. Imagine you're in class and that kid behind you, and they're like, whap, 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 kick your chair, whap, whap, whap. And you're like, stop it, stop it. They can kick your chair, you can't kick their chair. They can reach into your book bag, they can touch your supplies. You're not allowed to reach into their book bag and touch their supplies. Get the idea? Difference in power. They touch your stuff, you're not allowed to touch their stuff. Difference in power. And my experience has been, at middle schools, teachers and school staff are really good at catching physical bullying. If there's a type of bullying they're going to catch, it's usually physical bullying. I'm not saying they're going to catch it every time. But if there's a type of bullying caught at school, it's often physical bullying. And it makes sense why. It's so obvious. I mean, even if you're a new teacher in this school, and if you see somebody doing this, you're like, oh, I've got to do something about that. That's not right. Teachers come running. When they see that circle of students surrounding one child and the child can't get out of the circle, school staff comes running. They're not always exactly sure what to do, but if there's a type of bullying that gets caught at school, it's often physical bullying. And statistically, physical bullying is the least common form of bullying. It's the one that teachers catch the most because it's so obvious, but much more common are what's called verbal bullying. Verbal bullying, here the difference in power is the use of language. This is that kid who can come out with like 5 insults before you can come out with 1, and you come back with something like, oh yeah, well, you too, or something like that. Ooh, good one. Something horribly lame like that. Do you think it's by accident that this highly verbal student has gone after a less verbal student? Difference in power, difference in power. And my experience has been sometimes verbal bullies don't think of themselves as bullies. They don't think of themselves as bullies. How can you call me a bully? I'm a funny guy, I'm a funny girl. I've got 5 people over here laughing. And it's true, they do have 5 people over here laughing. They've got one very upset person over here. They don't notice it's always Steve we pick on. It's always Steve who's the butt of the joke. And if Steve says anything back, you shut up, Steve. Can you feel that difference in power? Difference in power. How many of you have a laptop at home? Anybody here have a cell phone? Anybody text message? Anybody play Xbox Live? Online games? Do you guys still go to Club Penguin or is that?
Club Penguin, baby!
I like Club Penguin.
I love Club Penguin.
If you use... Oh, thank you so much for quieting down. Thank you. That was a good response.
I got kicked off for saying that.
Nice, thank you. This side of the room I'm looking at, and I can see almost everybody's eyes looking at me. This side, I see almost everyone's eyes. I'm just waiting for the last few people. And teachers, these are your students. If you see somebody who's talking who shouldn't, you just take care of disciplining them as you would in your regular classroom. So if you use technology as the way to bully, that's called cyberbullying. Sending text messages over and over again. Breaking into somebody's Facebook account or MySpace account. That would be examples of cyberbullying. Okay. Making prank phone calls over and over and over and over again. And sometimes people think because they use *67 that nobody's going to know that it's you. Do you know, by the way, everything you do on a computer, everything you do with technology, leaves a footprint. Everything that you do with technology leaves a footprint behind. Now, you and I might not know how to get it, but the police very easily can go into our computer and see everything that you've ever done, every message that you've ever sent out. And if you're like, well, they won't catch me because I use *67. You don't think the phone company can get around *67? They're the ones who created *67. They know exactly who you are. So if you're like, ooh, look at me, I'm so bad at making prank phone calls, they have that record. They know it's you. If you use technology as that difference in power, that's called cyberbullying. And the weird part is, every once in a while, I've found that it's actually a friend who is doing the cyberbullying. Now, I'm going to ask the girls here. Girls, I'm going to talk more to you. Guys, you can listen in, but girls, I'm really talking to you. Have you ever seen where there are two girls who go from they are like best friends, they are like inseparable, and they go from being best friends, all of a sudden they have a war, and they go boom, from like best friends to worst enemies? Yes. Anybody know what I'm talking about? True. True. And sometimes, ladies, I'm going to talk to you more. Guys, you can listen in. My experience has been, now you can accept this or reject this, it's up to you. My experience has been with girls, sometimes when girls have friends, they want to show that they care about their friends. So oftentimes they'll share stuff like, I'll try on your clothes, you'll try on my clothes, I'll borrow your shoes, you'll borrow my hair and makeup supplies, things like that. Maybe we'll even share